Salut à toutes et à tous, on se retrouve pour la suite de notre aventure sur The Council. Je sais pas si on doit faire continuer ou si on va tout de suite voir l'épisode 2, mais ça doit revenir au même.
How many times must I tell you? You must never put your life on the line for me.
Mother has always had a fascination for Lord Mortimer, but has never wanted to tell me why.
We are doing our utmost to find your mother as quickly as possible. Without your mother, hundreds of men of the cloth would have gone to the
All I can tell you is I'm looking
Do
for
you
my
believe
sister.
your mother capable of torturing a child?
An agreement for cannons. Lord Mortimer assured me that you are to take over the project on behalf of your mother. Johann Christoph von Wollner, Minister of Religious Affairs, and Jacques Peroux, French Revolutionary Tribunal Judge. You will find that Lord Mortimer is not what one would call conventional, Monsieur de Richet.
Oui, on a un petit souci, oui.
Monsieur de Richet, I am arresting you for the murder of Elizabeth Adams.
Donc là c'est un petit peu ballot la fin du premier épisode, tout simplement parce que pour pouvoir interroger cette Elisabeth, on a décidé de boire de sa mixture dégueulasse, qui était en fait de l'alcool coupé au laudanum, et quand on s'est réveillé, elle était morte. Et bien évidemment, on s'est réveillé quand les gens nous ont pris soi-disant la main dans le sac. Il est bien évident que c'est une... Il est bien évident que c'est une manipulation, mais bon, c'est comme ça. Alors, rappelons-nous ce qu'on sait faire, hein. Science niveau 2, érudition niveau 2, manipulation niveau 2, donc ça c'était un petit peu ce qu'on savait faire le mieux. On a des trucs au niveau 1, subterfuge, occultisme, logique et psychologie. Conviction, conviction ça nous sert pas à grand chose en fait, hein, quand on regarde bien. Ça fait un peu doublon. On va prendre plus ça en érudition. Ouais, donc là ce serait franchement bien, mais évidemment on n'a pas tout. Et occultisme en fait, hein. Allez, c'est parti, on va voir si on peut s'en sortir de ce vil traquenard dans lequel on est tombé. Alors, hide and seek, hein, je crois que c'est le cache-cache, hein, tout simplement.
Is there nothing you want to say, Louis?
It wasn't me. I didn't kill her.
I'd much rather have met you under different circumstances.
Lord Mortimer, believe me, I'm very conscious of the gravity of the situation. Everything seems to point to me as the one who killed Elizabeth, but I swear I am innocent.
Out of respect for your mother, rest assured that I do want to believe you.
And all I want is to be able to prove it to you. When do we start?
We already have. Tell me, Louis, how do you feel?
Ah d'accord, donc on n'a pas assez d'étiquettes, on n'a pas assez de psychologie.
I feel a bit disoriented.
That's only normal in your situation. You can hardly say you've been left unscathed lately. First, the disappearance of your mother, and now, this murder.
Where are you going with this, my lord?
Sarah's behavior grew odd before her disappearance. Her attitude changed. She became prey to outbursts of violence and a number of temporary absences. I'm just trying to make sure that you don't go getting lost like your mother did.
You're not suggesting that I might have killed Elizabeth and that I don't remember, are you?
I don't know, Louis. It's just that what with your mother and now you, it's rather a lot. The more I take stock of the situation, the more I'm under the impression that you've been set up. But before going any further, I must inform you that Sir Gregory is about to arrive. He is coming to question you about the murder of poor Elizabeth, whom he was very fond of. He is quite determined to find the culprit, whomever they may be. So, convince him of your innocence. Then we can continue this conversation.
Bon bah on est mal. Alors, personnage de Lord Mortimer. Les personnages donc. Non mais pas le nôtre. On s'en fout du nôtre. Journal. Mortimer, immunité à conviction. Ça on le sait. Immunité à manipulation. Ok. Sarah de Richet, on sait rien de elle. Tous ces gens, on connaît pas grand chose. Conviction et politique. Bonaparte est immunisé à ça. Ça c'est bon de s'en souvenir quand même. Hein. Vulnérable à manipulation, les serviteurs, c'était très très pratique. Ouais, mais malheureusement, on n'a pas plus d'infos que ça. Ok. Tout ce qu'on sait de Mortimer, c'est pas grand chose, quoi. Marquis de Westfordshire et père de Grande-Bretagne. Richissime aristocrate anglais, aussi discret qu'influent. Investisseur de talent, la réussite de Mortimer dans les affaires fut magistrale. Il finit par se retirer de la scène publique en s'isolant de plus en plus souvent sur son île privée. Grand mécène, patati patata. Il organise régulièrement des rendez-vous mondains. Ouais. Et on avait remarqué qu'il était un peu chelou comme mec.
In private. Let's step outside a moment. Louis, this will only take a few moments.
Ce qui est sympa, c'est que j'étais absolument pas obligé hein, de comment de me faire choper.
Alright, let's take this chance to look around.
On aurait pu faire d'autres choix, j'aurais pu suivre une autre personne, mais bon, c'est comme ça. Alors, 6 jours à les témoignages des invités, Bonaparte et Hillsborough. Déposition de Monsieur Bonaparte. À la question qu'avez-vous fait hier soir, Monsieur Bonaparte répond, après avoir discuté avec Lord Mortimer, j'ai passé la soirée au jouer aux cartes avec Sir Gregory, Monsieur Washington et son éminence Piaggi. Sir Gregory a gagné. À la question avez-vous remarqué quelque chose d'étrange, il dit, à l'aube j'ai cru apercevoir quelqu'un sur le balcon, mais je n'ai pas pu voir qui. Déposition de la duchesse Hillsborough. Qu'avez-vous fait hier soir? J'ai passé la soirée en compagnie de Monsieur de Richet. Nous avons admiré les œuvres présentées dans la galerie du manoir. En montant nous coucher, nous avons croisé Mademoiselle Adams. Fatigué de ma journée, j'ai laissé Monsieur Richet et Mademoiselle Adams discuter. Je suis allé me coucher. Elle n'a rien remarqué de spécial. Ok. Sortie innocente de ce procès. Voici donc l'information... Enfin... pas l'information, mais le but simplement de ce passage, ce qui est un peu malheureux parce que je suis pas sûr d'avoir les compétences requises pour du baratin.
Monsieur de Richet, you were found standing over Miss Adams' body. We must shed some light on your responsibility in this tragedy. We shall then decide on your fate. But you must know that if you do not convince us of your innocence, it will cost you dearly. Now you are going to tell us everything that happened last night, without leaving any detail out. First things first, how did your evening begin?
Elisabeth m'a attiré dans sa chambre.
I was in the corridor and I was about to go to bed. Elizabeth appeared as if from nowhere and rushed toward me. She took me by the arm and led me to her room.
You say she led you? All right, we'll accept that. Continue.
We were heading for our rooms when Elizabeth burst into the corridor, barely dressed. She was panic-stricken and insisted on speaking to me. So I found myself in Elizabeth's room. We sat down together. She insisted we have a drink or she would refuse to confide in me.
What exactly did she want to speak about at such a late hour?
And believe it or not, Elizabeth extolled to me the virtues of her treatment. She felt better and ready to cope with the ordeals of the outside world.
I beg your pardon?
Yes, she told me she had made peace with her old demons and was excited to begin her new life.
Ah, you see, Gregory, you were right to bring her here. What a pity she was unable to benefit from it.
And what happened next?
Then she told me she had poured laudanum in my glass. The next minute I was on the floor. When I woke up, she was lying in a pool of blood.
That is all you had to say? You expect us to believe that you have no idea what happened to her?
Yes, because I'm telling you the truth.
How can you possibly expect us to believe you?
Gregory, we must consider every possibility. Louis, do you have any idea who could have done it?
Mais j'en ai pas la moindre idée. Qui aurait pu faire ça? Jacques Pérou? Je ne sais pas. Bah si je réponds je ne sais pas, j'imagine que je vais avoir un problème, hein. Ça se trouve c'est moi, ma mère, Jacques Pérou.
Look, frankly, it's beyond me. I just don't know.
Monsieur de Richet, don't you think it would be in your interest to help us find another suspect?
Ah oui, d'accord.
Why don't you ask him where he was last night?
Monsieur Pérou, what would his motive be? Do you have any proof?
No, not exactly, but he'd already roughed her up once.
Monsieur de Richet, you should not accuse the first person to come along without at least some proof. I'm sure you are worthier than that.
Can you think of anyone else?
Let's finish this, William. I don't rightly know how we can give the benefit of the doubt to an individual who can...
Ok, bon bah, mais en même temps, je vois vraiment pas qui j'aurais pu... Je vois vraiment pas ce que j'aurais pu faire en fait.
Louis. Unfortunately, you haven't managed to convince us. You will agree that you had the time and
Quel genre de mobile? N'importe quoi.
I am devastated, but I must agree with Gregory and declare you guilty.
Gentlemen, if you please, wait. There is something else. Elizabeth ended up telling me why my mother had tried to treat her.
The voices in her head, is that it?
She spoke to you about them too, didn't she? Gentlemen, I'm not a doctor, but she was persuaded she heard voices in her head. You don't think she might have killed herself,
by stabbing herself 9 times. I find that extremely unlikely, don't you?
What? Stabbed 9 times?
It appears that the murderer walked up and stabbed her several times from behind. We counted 9 gashes in all. All of them were relatively shallow, and they were all given from roughly the same angle of attack. Traces of blood appear to prove that she was standing throughout the attack.
I might not have the strength of Hercules, but if I had stabbed a woman, I'd probably have made deeper cuts.
Sounds plausible. I have to admit, you put forward a powerful argument, Monsieur de Richet.
I think that will be all, Gregory. The benefit of the doubt suffices.
Ouais, c'est pas brillant.
I would like to thank you for helping us shed light on what happened last night. To be honest, you are not the only suspect. I'm prepared to believe you were drugged. Our poor Elizabeth hid the stuff everywhere, and I could smell laudanum on you 3 yards away.
So you knew it wasn't me from the start?
We weren't sure. Louis, I am sorry, but everything points in the same direction. I only know one person on this island who might have had a big enough grudge against Elizabeth, who has no alibi, and whose behavior is, well, suspect. Not to mention dangerous.
Tell me what happened before my arrival. I think I've been patient enough.
You don't need us for any of this. So come along, Monsieur Pérou. We are leaving.
Right. It's time we spoke about your mother, Louis.
She seems to be making every effort to steer clear of your guests.
What do you mean?
For the past few weeks, my mother's been playing cat and mouse, if you will. I don't know why, but it wouldn't surprise me to learn that she's trying to avoid someone. The question is, who?
And in your opinion, would she be the cat or the mouse?
Knowing my mother, she would be the cat.
That doesn't make me feel any better, Louis.
What was the official reason why my mother came to your island?
I knew about your mother's activities, and yours, in the Golden Order. I thought we had everything to gain by working together.
You mean the canon deal with Monsieur Bonaparte?
Among others, yes. How did you hear about that?
Monsieur Bonaparte came to speak to me about it yesterday, during lunch.
I see. So impetuous. He was supposed to let me speak to you about it first. Our friend Napoleon desperately needed financial backing to properly equip his army. I took it upon myself to back him, because I have a firm conviction that he can go far.
We shall see. However, there's one thing that surprises me. Did my mother intend to finance a war? I'm not sure that I follow.
No, your mother's aim was not so much to partake in a war, but rather to make Monsieur Bonaparte accountable. France is in turmoil, and having the support of a military man can often come in handy, Louis. You'll see. Once this deal was closed, I had big plans for Sarah.
Such as what?
You see, I've invited several influential figures on my island to present them with a project at the conference. It will be presented later today. I thought that the Golden Order had a role to play, and I still think so. I was hoping Sarah would be able to join us.
I see.
Indeed, if by chance your mother decided not to return to us before the conference, would you do me the great honor of attending? If only to follow the deliberations while waiting for her to duly take her seat.
Why not? We shall see.
Ah, thank you so much. In this way, you'll be able to keep your mother informed of what is said. There's something else I'd like to briefly go over. Earlier, you asked me the official reason for your mother's presence here. Is there an off-the-record reason why your mother came here?
If only my mother trusted me, but she remained very mysterious. I'd have been delighted to answer your question.
Is this usual for her?
As head of the Order, secrets are her bread and butter, as you can imagine. That said, it's the first time she hasn't let me in on the reason for her trip. And it intrigues me, to tell you the truth.
Well, I'm sure that Sarah will explain everything once she reappears. There's something I still don't get. In your opinion, why would your mother remain in hiding over several weeks?
Maybe she found something out.
What do you mean?
My mother has a gift for investigating. If she had picked up a lead, nothing would have stopped her.
The only thing I can tell you is that Sarah had indeed changed. At the beginning of her stay here, we enjoyed spending time together, solving the world's problems.
You seem to know my mother very well, my lord. What did you talk about together?
Oh, as soon as we had a little free time, we liked to share points of view about practically any subject. We would find ourselves embarked on interminable discussions that could go from Monsieur Blanchard's flight in a hot air balloon to the Treaty of Jersey, or the adoption of the metric system in France last year, or even Mr. Eli Whitney's invention in the United States.
Ah, yes. His famous cotton gin. It was supposed to revolutionize cotton production in the United States.
It will revolutionize the world, Louis. The potential of this invention is much greater. Tomorrow, all industries will be switching to simple but large-scale production. Of that, I'm sure.
I'm surprised she didn't get you started on the Crusades. It was her favorite subject.
Are you joking? Sarah and I spent entire days together reliving them. It so happens that the Crusades are also my subject of predilection, especially the third. My ancestor distinguished himself brilliantly during the siege of Saint-Jean d'Acre.
Mother lulled my childhood with tales of the Crusades. How Richard the Lionheart and Philip Augustus had to battle it out to achieve their ends. And how Guy de Lusignan, having broken his word, launched the siege of Saint-Jean d'Acre.
Oh, I see Sarah's lessons have inspired new enthusiasts. Good on you, because not everyone can claim they know as much at your age. Your mother is a very well-read woman. You're quite lucky to have her as a model, Louis.
Yes, I know, but I'm still very worried.
I must admit, there are worse things to worry about now, Louis.
What do you mean?
Since she disappeared, your mother has been seen once. Her behavior on the evening of your arrival greatly surprised Gregory and myself. She resurfaced to attack Emma, Emily Hillsborough's twin sister. And she shot her with a pistol. Then, before Gregory could intervene, she ran off and disappeared again.
I beg your pardon? Hang on.
Emily has a twin sister who knew my mother? What's she playing at, goddammit? That means my vision on the wharf, it was actually happening inside the manor. Mother shot Emily's sister? The very person she came looking for? Why would she do that?
Excuse me, but between that and the childhood of Lady Adams, it's all a bit much for me to cope with. I need to piece it all together again to see things more clearly. You said that you spent a lot of time talking together at the beginning. What happened for that to change?
I'm afraid I haven't much to tell you. The more the days went by, the more she withdrew into herself. She never gave me an explanation. Until the day came when she purely and simply disappeared.
Where did she go when she wanted to be alone?
She would shut herself away in a room we use as a box room upstairs.
Would you allow me to go there?
Naturally, Louis, of course. I'll send you a servant to open it.
Thank you.
That's all I can tell you about the disappearance of your mother, Louis. I would like to have been more helpful.
I shall stay on her trail and follow up any leads.
Thank you. We will meet later on to welcome our last guest. In the meantime, I shall get someone to open the box room upstairs for you.
Thank you.
Ok, donc voilà, on a terminé cette longue scène de questions à Mortimer. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'on a appris? Bon, on a appris pas mal de choses en fait. Après, je lui fais absolument pas confiance à ce mec, bien évidemment. Par contre, on a appris qu'Emily avait une sœur jumelle. Alors, dans les histoires, les jumeaux, on peut pas en faire grand-chose. Il y a deux types d'utilisation habituelle des jumeaux. Soit on ne sait pas que la personne a un jumeau et à la fin on se rend compte, à la fin de l'histoire on se rend compte que finalement la personne pour qui, qu'on prenait pour un des jumeaux en fait c'était l'autre. Ça c'est la première utilisation des jumeaux. Ou alors la seconde utilisation des jumeaux c'est simplement quand il y a deux jumeaux, on le sait dès le début, à un moment il y en a un qui meurt, et à la fin on se rend compte que c'est pas celui qu'on croyait qui est mort. Voilà, il n'y a pas beaucoup d'autres utilisations des jumeaux. C'est comme ça. Alors, la chambre de la tour, c'est ici que ma mère elle squatte, hein, c'est ça que vous êtes en train de me dire. Par contre j'ai plus de points du tout, donc ça c'est un peu la tristesse. C'est quoi déjà Soigne altération négative, nope. Restaure 2 points d'effort, oui. On a 5 trucs comme ça, immunité, vulnérabilité, ouais on verra ça plus tard. Parce qu'on a vraiment besoin de points quoi.
There's a legible fragment left. Hey, I recognize my mother's handwriting. She says we must find a safer way to communicate. Someone is onto us. Trust in my faith in the man with the sword. So Mother had an accomplice here. Who could it be? Who could she be suspicious of? I must find the next part. Faith, sword. I recognize her love of riddles there.
Ok.
There are burnt papers in the chimney.
Ah mais c'est la même scène.
There's a legible fragment.
Ouais, ok.
Hey, I recognize my mother's handwriting. She says we must find a safer way to communicate. Someone has wronged us. Trust in my faith in the man with the sword. So mother had an accomplice here. Who could it be? Who could she...
Donc on est là. Ok, donc c'est bien d'avoir un plan quand même. On est au premier étage donc. Je sais pas si c'est très pertinent de le remarquer, mais au moins on le sait.
Great, honey.
Oui. Rien ici.
Dante's Paradise.
Paradis de Dante.
For what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our rays.
Lève la tête. Est-ce une information peut-être? Ah, bah là ce serait plutôt baisse la tête.
What is this disc? Oh, that reminds me of the ones my mother collects. It's magnetic.
Un aimant. Bah, évidemment que je le prends, pourquoi je ne le prendrais pas? Ok, on a une pierre magnétique donc. Bon, ici on a un truc à boire. De l'eau de mélisse.
Saint Paul on the road to Damascus by Caravaggio.
Je me souviens de cette histoire.
A fierce opponent of the first Christians, Saint Paul is suddenly struck by the call of Jesus Christ and converts. It's the best known conversion in Christian history, which teaches us that even enemies of Christ can be saved, and even become his greatest apostles after finding faith. From what I can recall, the account of his conversion can be found in the epistles to the Galatians, the Philippians, the Corinthians, and the Acts of the Apostles. Caravaggio attained a magnificent command of black and the play of colors too. Paul facing an ordeal, the curtains of his illusions being raised, and receives the light from his Savior.
Ok. Ça nous fait une belle jambe pour l'instant. Est-ce qu'on a fait tout le tour? Bah, je vois pas grand chose d'autre moi personnellement hein, pour l'instant. Pourtant il doit bien y avoir quelque chose. Il doit bien y avoir quelque chose dans cette piole. Ici donc ça on a vu. Ouais, voilà, il va nous dire ouais on va pas partir maintenant. Est-ce qu'il y a une autre pièce? Ok, il n'y a pas d'autre pièce.
I think I heard something fall to the ground. A metallic sound, like a key falling to the floor. Let's see if it works.
Easy.
It's open.
Yep, it's open. Alors, c'est parti pour un tour de la pièce en règle. Ça c'est très très cool parce qu'on est toujours en manque de ce genre de truc.
Saint Paul painted by Guido Reni. Saint Paul is shown holding a sword. Strange. There's hardly any dust, as if the painting's been cleaned recently. There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. No, what does that mean? So we have the figure 11 twice underlined, and a story of a group of pilgrims who it looks like Paul is speaking to. Maybe it's a code. There must be a connection. A text on Paul must be somewhere, and it must be associated with the figure 11. But what's the story with these pilgrims? I mean, a connection with the figure, maybe?
Donc il faut qu'on trouve un texte sur Paul, probablement dans une bibliothèque. Bon, donc ça c'est un plumard, ma foi, des plus classiques. Oh, il y a un truc ici. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Amber crystals.
Fragment d'ambre, ouais. Quoi? Pourquoi fragment non ramassé? C'est ouf ça. Très chelou.
Painting of Saint Mark from the collection of the Apostles by Guido Reni. Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. It looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
Alors c'est quoi ça? Ok. L'art du sophisme.
It's Saint John, painted by Guido Reni. Saint John is known as the youngest of Christ's apostles. Well, we often give credit to Saint John for having written about the apocalypse in the last book of the Bible. It's Saint John.
Non,
painted
rien
by
à en tirer.
Guido Reni.
Pour l'instant, du moins. Ah.
The New Testament.
Oui, bon, on va aller à 2-2 par exemple. Ah merde, mais il y en a plein.
This volume dates from the first edition by Gutenberg. It's the first book that was ever printed. The pages are covered in annotations in Latin, French, and Hebrew. Someone spent years studying this Bible.
On va partir, tout simplement parce que... tout simplement parce que j'aimerais bien aller relire un truc. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a ici?
Chest with the occult symbol representing air.
J'ai pas de clé. Je voudrais revoir un machin.
Painting of Saint Mark from the collection of the Apostles by Guido Reni.
Non, c'est pas celui-là, merde. C'est lequel? C'est lui le mec à l'épée.
Saint Paul painted by Guido Reni. So we have the figure 11 twice underlined, and a story of a group of pilgrims who it looks like Paul is speaking to. Maybe it's a code. There must be a
oui, non mais
connection.
d'accord, mais c'est quel groupe de pèlerins? À qui il parlait? C'est ça la question.
And it must be associated with the figure 11. But what's the story with these pilgrims? I mean, a connection with the figure, maybe?
Bordel.
Saint Paul is shown.
Il faut que je retrouve le nom du groupe de pèlerins en fait.
Strange. There's hardly any dust, as if the painting's been cleaned recently. There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. No, what does that mean?
Bordel. Je sais plus c'est quel groupe de pèlerins, mais on l'avait pas lu quelque part ça? Il n'y avait pas un truc d'ouvert?
Dante's
Non,
paradise.
ça c'est le paradis de Dante, on
Raise
s'en
your
fout.
head and be reassured. For what comes up here from the mortal world must
Chier.
ripen in our rays.
Merci quoi.
I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid, but rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy. Oh wait, a note from Mother is carefully folded between the pages here. What does it say? Dear E, I'm glad you found this note. I was afraid the code of the two groups of pilgrims would mislead you. Pick up the package. You know where, and hide it where no one will find it. It's imperative. Awaiting your reply. Hidden behind the youngest apostle. What? The youngest apostle? What does Mother mean by that?
Ok. Bon. Donc on a avancé un petit peu sur la piste de notre mère. Par contre ce qu'on va faire c'est qu'on va arrêter là pour aujourd'hui parce que l'épisode a assez duré. J'espère que vous êtes satisfait de ce retour sur The Council. J'aurais aimé le faire avant mais j'ai pas eu le temps. Au niveau timing c'était un petit peu tendu. On va essayer de réussir cette aventure, même si comme vous l'avez vu c'est compliqué quand même. Hein. Enfin, tout ne coule pas de source et on n'a pas toujours les compétences ou les points qu'il faut. Hein. Je suis en permanence en dèche de points pour les différentes actions à accomplir. Donc le jeu n'est pas facile et ça c'est cool parce que j'aime les jeux qui sont pas faciles. Bref, n'hésitez pas à me dire ce que vous en avez pensé. Je vous dis à bientôt pour d'autres aventures. Bye bye les gens.